It's certainly something that we didn't want to end this way.
I'm surprised that it happens, and I'm not surprised.
One GTA taxi company has officially closed its doors, and now we're being warned it could be a sign of more to come across the region. Scott Wallace owned Burlington Taxi. It was a family business started by his father over 52 years ago. At the business's height, it employed upwards of 280 people. Wallace describes the demise of the business as a death by 1,000 cuts. The final nail in the coffin might not be what you expected.
We can't find people to work without having a minimum number of drivers out there, just carrying the overhead here and trying to keep an operation running. It just doesn't make any sense anymore.
He says things were going more or less all right before the pandemic struck. Then during the height of COVID-19, the business shrank to just 6 vehicles on the road. But thanks to government assistance, the company weathered the storm, only to find ramping the operation back up would be the problem.
We do a lot of contract work for, we take young school children to work, we went to school, different government contracts, different corporate contracts to keep us very busy. And the last 3 months, we've been turning them down every single day, because we're just unable to meet the demand. We tried to call back people that were laid off from the previous year, but whether most of them didn't want to come back still because of COVID or whether they found other jobs.
And he says there's the issue of dramatically rising insurance costs.
Some people are paying upwards of $18,000, $20,000 per car per year, and that's up from, $5,000 just a few years ago.
Been here over 25 years.
One of the company's now former drivers says he liked the job and will miss his regulars.
You get used to seeing them, and now it's sad that because they stopped me today, like, are you guys really shutting down? How's my boyfriend going to get to work?
Meanwhile, a warning from the taxi owners and operators that while labor shortages in Toronto are less of an issue, the insurance is. And that, coupled with market share loss to companies like Uber and Lyft, are taking a heavy toll.
How could you pay $17,000 to $20,000 for a taxi, right, to insure a taxi where you don't have the business? So I think the politicians, they knew that this is going to happen, right, and they didn't care.
He says to save the industry now, the regulations would need to be overhauled and drivers compensated. He adds a lot of drivers invested heavily to get into an industry that until a short time ago was much more lucrative.
They borrowed money. They mortgaged their house. This is where we are right now. It's a really sad story.
Wallace saying he's grateful to his staff and clients over the years, but also worried about those left without other options to get around.
Kids that need special attention, we take them to school for years. It was a big deal for us. And then there's the seniors.
In Burlington, David Zura, City News.